Well, I'm ready whenever you are. So let's hop in and let's make sure we get some value for you.
Okay.
So which would you like to cover first?
Yeah, I think I was just trying to get at least get all the methods and give them kind of one spring rush and just see how things go, and kind of get out, like I said, just like one spring rush at least, really fully evaluating how it's doing and what the results are.
Okay, so you need 58 more customers to get to your goal. So the goal is going to be 58 customers, and it sounds like you basically have the next 3 weeks to capitalize on that goal. Is that correct?
Yeah, for the most part, yep.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. Yeah, let's go over each channel that you've been doing. I love how intentional you are on tracking all this data. You've also opened my eye up to a thing or two when it comes to the abandoned cart feature, and I liked seeing that data on the 28% close rate on just that feature alone. So that's good, because we have probably almost 400 people in our abandoned cart that we haven't even set estimates to yet. So we'll probably start doing that. Cool. Yeah, let's go over each channel. So it looks like your, let me see. Okay, there's your, all right, Facebook data, $690. You have a $28.75 cost per lead. Love that. Only 15 of those are qualified, so then that comes down to a $46 cost per lead. 2 have been accepted, 2 have been declined, 11 are pending, the majority of them will pass through for both. All right, so if we were to break that down, you technically have, right now you have $345 customer acquisition cost on your Facebook. But your cost per lead's fine. Do you think it's an issue with your sales system if you've only gotten 2 accepted?
Yeah, well, that's kind of some other thoughts that I have, and I'm curious to see what you guys have been doing for your Facebook ads and what that process is, because I was like, and that's where I think I'm struggling, because I think the leads have been there for the most part. It's just like I've been pretty good about doing, like, obviously automations for 20 days to close, but I've been pretty good at like doing follow-up calls and follow-up videos and stuff like that. It's just like hard to actually get anybody on the phone doing that. And so I think, like, pretty much because we're doing like the instant pricing, it's not like you have like the real speed to lead factor where it's like, okay, they submit a form and I can get back to them in 30 seconds. And so Facebook's been like the only thing where that's really, like, we've really been able to capitalize on that, because everything else is pretty much like, they're doing it on their own time or doing instant pricing and filling it out. So it's not like, and whenever they go into the abandoned cart, it's not like we know the second they go into the abandoned cart and can give them a call, because they have to go in there and then get removed. So you can't really set up like an automation to let you know anytime somebody gets in there, because they're not all abandoned. But anyways, yeah, I think that's probably the case with Facebook, and it seems like Facebook, there's been a lot more, obviously a handful of like unqualified leads, but it just seems like there's been a lot more people who, like, I've gotten a handful of like people are like convinced they never requested an estimate from us and like never filled out their form on like Facebook. Like you call them and be like, hey, I just saw your estimate. I saw your estimate request come in from our Facebook ad, blah blah blah. And they're like, no, I never filled out the form. It's just like, I feel like I've been getting like a surprising number of those customers who just like, I for whatever reason, they're just like convinced they never requested a mowing estimate and didn't fill out their information.
Dude, yeah. We haven't gotten that with the Facebook ads, but we have gotten quite a bit of that from the instant price form, where they're like, I never accepted the estimate. I want to take as much ownership as I possibly can, but I'm like, we did click a button that did say accept and schedule. So, well,
Yeah.
and you clicked the thing that said, I acknowledge I am accepting an official. I was like, whatever. Um, but yeah, so you're going to get some people that are just like strange like that. Um, how we handled the Facebook ads is we'd immediately call them and I would say, hey, this is Sam with Troops Mowing. Near 100% of the time, they're going to be like, who? And I'm going to say, I believe you saw us on Facebook and you were interested in our weed control program. And then 100% of people are like, oh yeah. And so instead of being us like, thanks for your estimate from Facebook, they'd be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Just be like, hey, this is Adam with Pristine Green. I believe you saw us on Facebook and you indicated interest and wanted me to get in touch with you. And then you can kind of go that route as an intro to the call. And it's kind of less of like I just think consumers have been conditioned to feel like they're getting scammed at all points now. And so when we call and we kind of sound too salesy, it immediately like shoots our sales system in the foot. So if you can tweak the intro to make it seem like you're just a family member calling, that seems to always help us out.
Okay, yeah, because I've been kind of lazy with it as well. Like I haven't been calling all the leads, immediately per se. It's some of them. It's just like, hey, whenever I get to it, I'll just send out I won't even say anything. I'll just send out their estimate via text and email, and I won't call them or do things like that. So I think that could definitely be, the sales process for Facebook specifically be improved in that way, is just getting on the phone with them and trying to phrase it like that.
Now, when you're paying for all of the marketing leads, are you following up on the estimates that you're sending them religiously, like calling them like crazy and trying to get an answer from them? Or are you just relying on the 20 days to close?
Both. So I think right now I have it set up to, like, I get a notification to call them like 2 days after they get the estimate, and then another one at like 7 days, and then another one at like 15 or 18 days, something like that, and then with text and emails obviously in between all those. So it's been, I just built the follow-up calls into the 20 days to close process.
Yeah, so I like the 20 days to close process for like organic leads that come in. In the 20 days to close process for me, and the way I think of it, Adam, is it's kind of a catch-all. So if I'm having an off day, the automation will perform. But if I'm having an on day, I got to get it, because we're not paying for leads when they come through organic SEO. I'm okay with the 20 days to close process. But if I'm like, you're spending thousands of dollars for these leads, don't put them in the same category as your organic leads. It's like, I'm demanding an answer. And I don't care if I'm bothering you. I'm not like, I didn't buy your contact information from China. Like, you asked me to do this. And if and so like when we send an estimate out for, like, we're doing Facebook ads, I'll literally put whatever promo that we're doing on Facebook in the title of the estimate. So that way, when I'm going through all of my pending estimates, I can easily see which one was a paid lead. And then I'm only calling those ones when I'm on the phone, because I paid for that and I'm going to get an answer, whether they like it or not.
Okay. And so what does that look like? How many calls are you doing, and how often, and what does that look like? That's the other thing, is I've just struggled to get people like on the phone at all to even like follow up with them.
So in your 20 days to close process, on day 19 or 20, are you getting an email or a text saying close out this estimate?
Yeah.
Okay, so every single day I would etch out, let's say, 2 hours to just do follow-up calls. And your priority is going to be the paid leads. And then once you're done calling all paid leads that are pending, now you're going to get to everybody else. But I would literally, like, if I'm going to work Monday through Friday and I'm going to etch out 2 hours of follow-up calls specifically, I'm calling that person every single day for 20 days, even though it might be like 12 working days, every single day, until I get that email from the 20 days to close process saying to close out that estimate. It's like, I'm going to throw everything, because now I'm calling, I'm leaving voicemails, and the 20 days to close process is happening.
Okay.
And there's really not much else you can do besides like go pound on their door at 10 p.m., which obviously I wouldn't recommend doing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely. Because that's I think that's been the biggest shift this year. Is just like, with so much of it being like automated into the instant pricing, it's like you kind of put the ball in their court, and I just feel like I have a lot less control on like leading the sales process and leading the follow-up process to where it's because it feels like everybody, like if they're not accepting like the the instant pricing, they go through that, then they already see the prices, they end up in the abandoned cart. Like there's such a low chance that you're actually going to get them to close after that. And so that's why I've been struggling, is just like you said, kind of where to put the time in with because you like you talked about, like I've been treating everybody as the same. Like the people who come in from all the different sources are just going to follow the same process, and it's like these people that have such a slim chance of actually closing versus these people that are coming in from these other sources, and you're paying for it be on a different scale.
And another way to look at it is not all leads are created equal, as you already know. Some have higher intentions to buy than others. Like it's my theory that a lead from Google has a higher chance of closing than a lead from Facebook, just because they're going on Google searching for the thing. But organic leads are going to have the highest chance to close because they are taking the initiative without being prompted to look for lawn care. So like they want to buy. Your organic leads are going to have the highest chance to close. So when you are calling these paid leads every day, you're basically just saying, I know you need more help making a decision, because you're not as intentional or you're not as inclined to buy than an organic lead. So that's just another maybe mindset shift, where you're just helping them get to a decision because they're not as primed to make that decision compared to the organic leads. And that is why you can let your 20 days to close run with organic, but you need to like put fuel on the fire for your paid leads.
And then I mentioned in there, I said I have 3 ads running right now. All 3 have a $16 daily budget. I just filmed 3 more. All 3 leads have been performing pretty much the exact same that are currently running. How do you think I should handle that? Like with trying to test these 3 new ones and still keeping the other 3 running without just like, there's a point where if I have 6 ads running at the same daily budget where there's not enough people to reach at that point.
Are you setting them up the exact same for each one? Are you optimizing for leads, but there's just different ad creatives?
Yeah.
So what I would do is, you already know how your current 3 ads are running with the ad creatives. The new 3 ads, I would have set up the exact same as you have these current 3 ads. And before you change everything, log data like you have been. Now the previous 3 ads, I would now try to change how they are optimized. Instead of optimizing for a lead, maybe try to optimize one, and you already know how they're performing. So if worst case scenario, you can go back to optimizing for leads. Have one optimized for a link click so they can go directly to your instant price, and maybe try to refilm that one to say instant price within to like get them to it. Maybe try to optimize one for a call and one for whatever else, and then reassess.
Okay.
Instead of having 6 all running the exact same, because you might be hitting, like if you're optimizing for leads and you want them to fill out a form, you might be hitting people that don't want to fill out a form and all they want to do is call, but you're not asking them to call. And so now what you're going to be doing is you're still targeting that one town, but now you're hitting 6, well, I guess it would technically be 4. You're now hitting 4 different ways for a call to action.
Yeah.
So let's say,
do you think,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think I should have all 6 running at once?
I mean, Yes, because this is your 3-week sprint. And so if you're going to do it, you might as well do it. The 3 new ones, try to see if there's a better ad creative that's outperforming, even if it's by $1. And you can just say, well, let me just try to put $10 more a day on that and drop the others by 5 each or something like that. So you're still paying the same, but you're going to see if that one can outperform. It's really just like you're a mad scientist with ads at this point. Like for us, I went to 75 a day, got literally the same results. So that tells me around $25 a day for my market with that ad creative. I was already capped out, like with the audience.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would do all 6. Maybe initially have all 6 be the same daily budget, so that way you have like there's a controller, there's a constant, and then out of the 4 call to actions, take a week to see how the cost per lead is doing, but also be really intentional of taking that following week and seeing which call to action route has the best close rate. Because now, like, cost per lead is great, and it's a function that leads to calculating your customer acquisition cost. But if you're getting a lead that's not super intentional of buying, even if your sales system is spot on, then the cost per lead is jack. Like, you could spend $1 cost per lead and spend 10,000 but get 0 customers. Like, that doesn't mean anything at that point. So maybe a link click that goes to your instant price has the highest close rate. And what I would probably do for that link click is create a separate initial jot form. So that way 100% of people that go to that is from that one ad creative. And that way you can track that.
What do you guys do for your door hangers? Do you do instant quotes, or have you been doing like directing to instant pricing, or just straight up information with phone number and website?
This year we are 100%, and I'd imagine going towards the future, 100% going all in on the instant price. And so with our door hangers, I just created new ones for weed control, and we have a different second form. I think I might have shared a video with you guys where it kind of looks like an actual like shopping cart looking thing. So I'm curious to see how those perform, because that's a much simpler second form than what we currently have. And very curious to see what the conversion rate on that, because right now our conversion rate with our design that you're familiar with is like 35%. So for every 10 people that click the first form, 3.5 accept an estimate. If we can get that to 50, I mean, that would be a game changer.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's what we've been doing too, is all directed to instant quote, or I'm sorry, to instant pricing. But I have like 2,000 or so instant quote ones from last year that are gonna go out too. So yeah.
You might well put them out.
Yeah.
And did I read correctly? You have a high school kid doing it?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. 25 hours a week.
Yeah. So that's one of the things we talked about last time. So yeah, I got him doing it, but we're still doing like basically to get them all out within the next, I think it's 4 weeks. We need some more help on that side of things. So I've been doing them when I can, and then have a day or two a week. I send a guy out to do them and whatnot. So, but yeah, that's been good. A lot much better. Outsourcing at least the bulk of getting those out, so that we can continue to be producing revenue in the field, and we have demand for landscaping right now. So
yeah, very good. How is your time management going leading into spring rush right now? Are you stressed, overwhelmed? Do you feel like you have too much time?
No, it's been good. Like I'm super busy as is everybody, but I feel good about it. Like I don't feel stressed too much. I don't feel burnt out. I think it's been the biggest game changer of like getting Brighton to handle like all the training side of things, and just like the managing the guys on a day-to-day basis for the most part has been huge, and just allowing that to free up, because that's the hardest part. I think gets you is like whenever you go and work a 10-hour day, and then you got to come home and you got to do everything else. It's not bad when you work a 10-hour day not in the field, then you can come home and still have energy to do everything else. But when you're in the field, it just kills you. So yeah, I feel pretty good.
And your goal this year again was at around 650,000.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Okay, 650. It looks like you're on track.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you probably have what, a 7-month like get after it window.
Yeah, it's definitely long. It's definitely like longer in the fall. Like I'd have to pull up my whole revenue kind of goal chart throughout the year, but I mean we should be doing 70K plus a month through October. Probably do like 55, 60 in November, and probably do 30, 35, 40 in December. So I mean we surprisingly stay decently busy pretty much all the way through Christmas. It slows down, of course, but it's not as bad as January, February is for us. And yeah, I mean I'd love to, like, if we, because right now we yeah, like if we can fill up and go above, like I think it's like we need like 150 million customers to hit our initial goals. But like if we can blow past that, like we have room to bring on another guy and possibly expand even more to push revenue even further. But like I said, that's all going to be dependent on basically how mowing sales go, because I'm not going to be springing to bring anybody on if we don't have the recurring revenue.
Right. Yeah, because you don't want to be handcuffed where you're only as good as your last sale. Do you have the asset capacity for 150 reoccurring customers, or is there more? And not employees, just assets.
Yeah, we can do more.
How many customers do you think with your current assets you could handle?
225.
So why is 150 the goal?
Because I think it's reasonable, and I'm not that 225 is it, but it's I mean I'd love to. I want as many as possible. I just think that's the number that I feel comfortable at, where I know that we can fill up the rest of our schedule with landscaping and other services. So that's like the bare minimum comfort level.
So I think 170 would be the bare minimum comfort level, because then that would put you at 75% of your revenue, in theory, would be reoccurring. If 225 is your asset capacity.
Yeah, correct.
What I don't want you to do, Adam, I care for you like a brother at this point. What I don't want you to do is have a goal that's easy to attain. Because last time we talked, you had like 65 customers, right?
Yeah, I mean we started the season with around the 50, 60, 70 range. I don't remember exactly.
And so just in 1 month, when grass isn't really even growing for you, you've gotten 20. And like your door hangers, just from the data on your door hangers, that's not performing like it's going to. Facebook ads is performing well, and we're going to dial it. We're going to make sure you got 2 hours a day just to hammer sales. I don't want you to set your goal too low, because you can get to 170 customers easily if you prioritize sales. I would hate for you to go 150, you get 150, you're like, cool, mission accomplished. I would love for your goal to be 225, and that way if you hit 180, you're like, dang it. But that's amazing compared to just 150. So I wouldn't be doing my job as a mentor of yours if I didn't get you out of your comfort zone.
No, that's been my whole goal all spring rush, is just like push mowing sales, and like I want as many mowing customers like this year. Like we're not turning it off, and so I'll keep pushing. I just know that there's like we started. I'm just, like I said, that's like the bare number that I know we'll be comfortable at, and I think that's reasonable to get there to 150. I'm just worried because I don't know like how much, you know, how much time we have left in the sales window to really keep, you know, continue to do marketing and really push to get more customers.
There'd be a way to figure it out. You would just go to, you don't have to do it now, but you would go to Copilot and you can do it one of two ways. You can view the number of accepted estimates by month, like filtered by month, and then you can start to like kind of see when it starts to drop. Or you could view number of leads by going to reports and customer source or something like that, and viewing it by month as well. And you can kind of see when that starts dropping. That way, you know, it's like, hey, just by these two data benchmarks, I actually have an 8-week window to push sales. The reason I don't, if you can handle 225, I don't want you to have 225 customers, because then that means everything's running at 100%, like full throttle. If one employee calls out, like wheels start falling off. I don't want you guys to have that headache. But it sounds like, have we discussed if you're going to go into growth or profit mode after this year?
No, that's something I want to talk about, and just kind of the growth or the plans for the company over the next couple of years. Doesn't have to be today, but no, we haven't.
We got time, unless you only want to do sales today.
No, I mean I think that plays into what we're doing, but yeah, I mean give me the roadmap to get me to 225, and you know, let's do it. Yeah, what do I do whenever I can't get customers on the phone? Because I can call them, you know, every day until the cows come home, but if they don't ever pick up, like that's the biggest problem I've run into, is like I'm probably sitting at like a 5 to 10% of rate of people actually pick up the phone whenever I call them.
Yeah, nobody really answers the phone. So, but that is the fastest way you can get a response. It's the least time investment that you can do by manually following up with somebody, other than sending a text, but you're already doing that in 20 days to close. So if they're not answering the phone after like the third time, I would probably just go get a cell phone, assuming you don't want people having your personal number. I would just go get a cell phone and just have it be an estimator phone, like Mike talks about. And don't necessarily give it to your GM, just have it in your office for you. And then if they are not getting on the phone, maybe on like the fourth day, I would just take a selfie video. Hey, this is Adam. Look, I'm looking at your estimate right now. Look, we have the availability tomorrow. I would love to, like, you say whatever you got to say there, but send a selfie video. If they still aren't answering, send a loom video of a street view of their property. Hey, this is what I think this is going to look like after. Look at how nice we can stripe this front yard and make that neighbor jealous, or just something. And then you could like scroll over. It's like, hey, this lawn looks really nice. Your neighbor's lawn looks really nice. I want yours to look even nicer. We have availability tomorrow or Thursday, and just send that through. Like, you don't just have to do phone calls. You already have the 28 days to close as that safety net. But now, what are you going to do to separate yourself from the other person in Hartville that's calling too? This isn't healthy advice. I'm going to just word it, like, I'm going to preface it. This isn't healthy to view it this way. But if you want to throttle sales, you need to get offended. Or not even offended. You need to get competitive at a ghost. Like, imagine there's a person in the next office over, and they are a lawn care company that is year to date the same sales as you are, and they're rushing to get to 650,000. But there can only be one 650,000 a year company in your area. And the person in the office next to you is hammering follow-up sales calls. You need to like get competitive and think there's a person over there. It's like, what am I going to do to outperform that dude? And do it. And that's just probably not a healthy way to look at it. But if you're hungry enough, you have to find some fuel somewhere to, like, for me, I'm competitive. So it's like, money used to motivate me a lot. Now it's more just like, I need to compete for like me to actually get the ball rolling. Because money comes with time, is what we're all learning. But what can I do to like drive the day? Because now like revenue is not really the thing that's doing it for me. I just got to compete with made up people in my brain. And you and I have a lot of similar characteristics, and I think that's probably what helped you too. So once you get to 225, now the question is, do we raise prices and lose 20%, or are we getting more assets and pushing a location?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's I go back and forth because like Corey's pretty much gonna be ready to go to be GM a location too. So I feel like that groundwork's in place, and we have that. We're already starting to build up a route in the area where we want location 2 to be in, and so that stuff's all getting ready. And so the only thing that I'm that runs through my head is just the cash needs and the capital that would be required to open location 2, and making sure that we have that available to actually make sure that it can grow at an exponential rate, and it's not like, we're pinching pennies to try to get this location to grow. And it really puts kind of, I feel like, the training brakes on Corey as a general manager, or me if I'm handling sales, whatever it looks like if we have a stricter budget. So I don't know. I think we talked about it a little bit before, but I've been considering like adding on weed control and fertilization, and doing something with that. But I don't know, like, again, probably another conversation for another time. But I just feel like there's a lot of different ways that we can go for next year. We can also just like continue to build location 1 and not like officially separate a location 2, and just like kind of build in some different positions within the company now, as far as like with Brighton and with Corey, like having one handle like sales and estimates next year, and one handle like the operations and training, and just try to like grow location 1 to closer to $1 million before like officially separating off. So I don't know. Like I said, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it'll just come down to like how much cash in the bank at the end of the year type of thing, on like what position would make the most sense. But yeah, what do you think?
One, I will start with this. This is not a fully thought out thought yet, but I'm actually starting to question the multi-location model, and I'm actually more inclined to do a big location. But I haven't put too much thought into that yet. So just know that my wheels are turning on what is actually better, primarily because the multi-location model, I think, is best for people that don't have an automated office and admin side. Because the only reason you would do multi-location is so the owner could be absent faster. But if we did one big location, I could automate my job and just work an hour a week by checking KPIs. But anyway, my question to you to answer your question would be, would you lose Corey next year if you did not open up a second location?
Probably not, but I think either way, if we don't end up open up a second location, I would want to give him some sort of elevated role, doing something with it. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be $500 monthly bonus or something like that. But we've talked, and he's like, he's good. Like, he knows that it might not be next year, it might be the year after, depending on kind of where things are. And he's good with that. I just don't want to like. I want to Surpassed to give him that elevated role to make sure that he's happy and stays with us, and then also hopefully while that's happening, like, get him some training on general manager stuff, so he can take some things and start rolling with that, so he's more ready to go. So it's not a make or break, but there would need to be some sort of like elevated role, like I said, I think.
Yeah. And how much money in total do you think you would have liquid by March of next year?
Let's say 40 grand. Let's throw that out there.
How confident are you that you're going to get let's go back to 150 customers. How confident are you you're going to get to 150 customers within the next 3 weeks?
I'd say like 60%.
50% confidence. And what's your current close rate? Like a blended, not with paid leads, but like with your sales system, what's been a proven consistent close rate?
For mowing or for all services?
If you have the one for just mowing, that would be great.
I would say this year it's been probably around the 35 to 45 range, which
What about last
is probably about the same, probably 30, 35, maybe around 50 this year. I don't know.
Okay. Because
I think it's the problem. Like I don't. That's why I've been struggling to, and I should get better data on it. Well, what did I put something in the form as far as our blended close ratio?
28.5%.
Yeah. So obviously that's all the ones that are sent out through Copilot.
Now, is that just the 20 days to close?
That's with follow-up calls as well.
Okay, so here's my homework for you. I need you for the next 4 weeks. I need your primary focus on throttling sales, calling, watch a bunch of YouTube videos on how to overcome certain things and like talk with conviction on the phone, sending selfie videos, sending Loom screen recordings, etc. I need you to do that for the next 4 weeks. And then we need to, and I don't want you to change anything in terms of pricing. Only thing we're changing is I'm now going to be sending selfies, Looms, and do more follow-up calls.
Yeah.
We're going to compare close rate in 4 weeks. Now, if that close rate is 60% or higher, we're going to raise your price to $90 per man hour, maybe even 95. So that way that 40,000 in the bank turns to 75,000. You would have a little bit more freedom to now open up that second location and get Corey busy. Where if you ended the year with 40,000, let's say you'd put 30,000 into the second location, which would still be pretty thin to start a second location. Now you don't have enough marketing like ammo for the second location, and you're already pretty thinned out at your primary location. You would be in a very vulnerable spot if something were to go wrong, which we have been. Every single location we've opened, we have been in a very vulnerable spot, and it has worked out. Just depends how risk tolerant you are. So let's see what our close rate can be after 4 weeks, and if it's like maybe even 2 weeks, because I don't want you to raise prices after we've reached spring, the 3 week window. Maybe even, okay, here's what we're gonna do. This next week, you're gonna do everything you possibly can to get sales. On our mastermind call, I want to compare close rates with you. If the close rate has skyrocketed, I will say even north of 50%. What you're gonna do is on all new customers for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks after that, you're gonna go to 95 an hour. You're not gonna like lose the current people. But I want you to go to 95 an hour for all new people and track that close rate. And now if that close rate is going to be 40%, now we've found a good equilibrium hourly rate for a profit mode location in your market with the new revamped sales system of and this is like you talking to yourself. What I found is the second day is my highest chance that I get an answered phone call. On the fourth day, I get a pretty good response rate when I do a selfie video. On the sixth day, it's the Loom video. And then just build that into tasks within the 20 days to close process. So that way, that's going to go to your office. And once you get bigger, you can probably have a salesperson where that is just their whole job is dictated on email tasks. Hey, today send a selfie video to Tabitha or whatever. Um, and now you'll know, like, sales is handled. We get good. This is our best shot at close rate, and now we can just keep going, increasing our price. So I think that would be the best actionable insight I can give you for what the next 4 weeks would look like.
Okay.
And
do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that raising prices and switching to profit mode would be more important than potentially just like pushing to above 150 customers? If we raise prices,
I'm not even advocating. I'm not. So by.
So you're saying? Oh, I see. Hold on. You're saying that if I'm able to get close ratio above 50%, we raise prices, and then close ratio goes back down to 40%. It's still a net positive from what it is now. Is that correct?
Correct, because now you're getting just the same close rate, but now at $15 more per hour. But I'm not even necessarily advocating swapping to profit mode, even though I'm telling you to raise prices if you can consistently get that 60% close rate with the new system. Because the switching to profit mode only comes when a decision is made when you get within 10% of capacity. So if you were to raise your prices because you've drastically improved your sales process, you're not necessarily going into profit mode, because you only go into profit mode when you are actively deciding I am not buying assets when I get to capacity, and raising prices at that point to intentionally lose customers. So what I'm not telling you to do right now is raise prices on existing, because I don't want you to lose them.
Okay.
And what I would do, because whenever you raise prices on a percentage of customers, it can get wonky for P for P. So just still have whatever hourly rate, your $80 hourly rate, for P, and just take that extra $15 towards the bottom line to help go towards your second location. And then if you were to raise prices universally in a location to 95, then change that in P for P. But for the sake of P for P this year, just push $80 an hour.